Well, we have author Megan Fox up. We love Megan Fox. It's been a while since she's been on the show. I'll talk to you. She was one of the finalists in the contest that I won. She's just a great person that I met that night during the contest, and we've remained friends, and I just love her. Another fearless, fired-up mom on the front line. She wrote a book. You're not going to want to miss this segment, and she's going to tell us all about the book right after the short break. Well, it is my pleasure to welcome back to the show, Megan Fox, who just wrote a book, and this is so exciting. I get to say I know someone who wrote a book. How cool is that? The title of her book is Shut Up, The Bizarre War That One Public Library Waged Against the First Amendment by Megan Fox and Kevin, is it Dejan?
Yes, Dejan, you're right.
Dejan, very good. Well, welcome to the show back. It's been way too long since I've had you on because I remember you talking about this before when it first happened, and so it's like, wow, everything that all the efforts and the time and it was just such a battle for you, and you turned it into a book. And I'm telling you, Megan, really quick, I'm going to shut up and let you talk. But my goal is to get you and the other people from that night. We're going to get in the studio and talk one day because you guys were all amazing, and I love the fact that even after all these years, I'm still in contact with you guys, and I feel like you guys are my friends, the finalists from the contest that night. So some people may be aware what happened in Orland Park. It was Orland Park, right? The library.
Yeah.
But just catch them up really quick,
you're right. It really was this great big battle, and it only could have ended in a book.
Mm-hmm.
And because people come up to me all the time and they say, "What happened at that library?" And I honestly cannot tell you, even in a half an hour. So I needed to put it in a book, and so Kevin and I, we discovered that there was unreported child porn being accessed in that library, and also that there was lewd behavior and sex crimes.
Wait, unreported? Unreported child porn? I didn't realize it was. I know that initially your concern was that where the library had the computer set up, and if people were accessing porn, it could be seen by those walking by.
Yes, that's what initially set off the investigation, was that we saw people doing that. But when I started FOIAing and digging into their reports, what I found was that they were actually allowing men to become sexually aroused and actually commit sex crimes in the library and did not call police intentionally. And one egregious thing that they did was that a man was reported by 3 witnesses as watching child pornography in that library, and no one called the police. They did that deliberately, I believe, to keep their name out of the paper and so that the library could continue its bad policies and allowing men to become sexually aroused in a building full of children. It set off a 3-year war where I lobbied, and Kevin with me, we lobbied the library, we petitioned them to change their policies. These dangerous policies we believed were dangerous for the children and bad for families in Orland Park and not up to community standards. And what happened to us was, because we went up against this public board, they really attacked us in an all-out war, using police to harass us and stop us from handing out flyers and trying to say that they had to approve what was on them. You know as well as I do that no police in America can stop you from handing out political flyers because they think what's on it might not be accurate. That's absurd.
What Megan, we're talking to Megan Fox, who wrote a book about her efforts to, it seems so common sense, so simple, that when you go to the library, you just don't want people accessing porn at the library, the whole First Amendment, they have a right. It just seems like you take for granted that a library, which I don't know about everybody else, even in the day with technology, you can access everything. I love going into the library. It's quiet. It's all this access to so much information. And to be able to, the thought of going in there, and my little cherub, as we're going in to see a puppet show or something, could walk by someone who's accessing this stuff, you would think, well, of course, it would be common sense that the library board officials would say, oh, no, we're not going to do this. And they fought you. Right.
You would think. And, Stephanie, unfortunately, across this whole country, the American Library Association that is headquartered right here in Chicago, they are in charge of, they are basically like a lobbying group, a special interest group that these the taxpayer money that goes to libraries is being funneled into the American Library Association. They are using that money to put on these big conferences for libraries, and they are writing policies contrary to what communities want. It's the American Library Association that wants porn in libraries, that does not want librarians reporting crimes when they occur in the library. And we discovered that through all of our investigation through this story. And the story is very important for people to hear because it really is what, there's a big push right now for people in their local communities to try and take back their governments that are out of control. And if you can do this at your local public library like we did, then you have a much better chance of taking back what belongs to you as an American, which is your right to not have this kind of stuff going on at your public library. And we had to end up suing that library because they were violating FOIA laws and Open Meetings Act laws. They were violating the law left and right, and we had to sue them to make them stop. And they did have to settle for $55,000. We had to sue the village of Orland Park also because of the violation of our rights, the continued violation of our rights, and they settled also. But then they sued us in a slap suit. And so for 2 years, we were dragged through court to silence us is what it was about. So the story really is all about how that happened and why it happened and how the American Library Association was involved. And it truly is a story of the government trying to silence the First Amendment rights of the people to petition their government for change.
Now, after all this, Megan, any other policies change at the Orland Park Library?
So many things changed. They really did do something. I'm sad to report that they never did put filters on the computers, which would have solved the whole problem. What they did do was remove all of the computers that were in the hidden spots by the books where the kids would be, where they were doing these bad things. Oh. Those are all gone now. They turned all the screens towards the help desk, which is what we suggested from the beginning.
Okay.
And they now have to take IDs. They hold a driver's license while you're there. They used to let guys just sit there all day with no ID and with an anonymous code, Stephanie. You could have been on there doing terrorism or identity theft, and no one would ever know because they
record.
They wiped the computer every night. They wiped the hard drive, and they still do that, which I think is crazy. Because what if someone commits a crime in a library? I spoke with the head of the Internet Crimes Division of the Attorney General's office while this was all going on, and he told me, and I quote, "I lost track of the time that a child porn investigation ended at a public library. And once, they trace it back to a public library, they can't find anything. They can't do anything."
And that's it. It's just so ridiculous. And we're talking to Megan Fox, and you're a homeschooler, which I applaud, and I'm not being I'm like, anyone that does it is amazing. So you're spending a lot of time at the library. My point is that you are a mom and a wife and involved in paying attention to what's happening. You don't have to be some major, what I'm saying, just a regular person that cares about the community can make a big difference and say, wait, this policy doesn't work. This policy is ridiculous. And you just decided to put some action to just not talking about it. And it was a long battle. I'm sure you got mean looks at the Jewel at the grocery store. How dare you? You're being ridiculous. And
yes. Oh, there's been a lot of that. Yes. But then again, there's also been a lot of people who have come up to us and said, thank you for what you did. You really taught me something. And right now we're helping another group in Finley Park called the Citizens of Finley Park stand up to their government, who has really, stomped all over their rights. And we help them with their FOIA requests, and we help them with their Open Meetings Act violations. And so, Kevin and I both are very committed to helping people right here on the ground. If you have a problem in your village and you want to know how to solve it, we will help you. And, Finley Park, they're doing a great job right now. They are really holding their government officials accountable. You would love it. You would just love it. They just go there to every meeting and they give them hell. It's so great.
Now tell everybody, Megan, before you go, the title of your book and how they can purchase it.
Sure. It's called Shut Up: The Bizarre War That One Public Library Waged Against the First Amendment. And it is on Amazon right now.
Very good. Now I'm looking at the cover, and tell me, this who posts for this? Is this just a random picture? Very appropriate of this librarian saying shush, but she, not a very flattering picture. But is that someone you know, or how'd you get that picture?
It is not a very flattering picture, but it's actually a really great story. That is my mom. And
oh no! Oh my goodness!
I took that picture. That's my mama. You met my mama.
I had the pleasure of having dinner at her house here in Scottsdale. That is so funny. I couldn't recognize it. You really made her look like a curmudgeon kind of librarian telling you to shush. I had to know. I'm like, who is that? It has to be a real person. You know, I love it. That is so awesome. And
well, I made it up to her though, Stephanie. In chapter 2, I put a beauty shot of my mama in the book.
Your mother. Yeah, I was gonna say she looks. When I grow up, I want to be as cool as she is. She's really well put together and awesome. So that's good. You had to really make her look like that, because I'm like, that didn't look like her with the record. Very good. Well, Megan, it's such a pleasure to talk to you, and I got to get you on again at any time. And just good luck with this, and hopefully this is an opportunity for other people to read this book and make a change in their communities. If they need to wake up and realize maybe your library has the same policies as Orland Park did, and you're not even aware of it, because we got to pay attention. Thank you very much, Megan.
Thanks, Steph.
You're welcome.
Take care.